Greetings, everybody. Welcome back. TryWithOracle.com. I'm the Oracle, aka Lori Danielle. Today, I am going to be talking about Bladderwrack. I promise you guys my next video will be about Bladderwrack, why I use it, how to make it. So here we are. I actually have some steam distilled water boiling right now. It's maybe about, I would say, 2 cups. 2 cups, because you're going to lose a lot of water with the steam. And I have my Bladderwrack flakes here. Those of you who don't know what Bladderwrack looks like, you're usually going to find it in flake form. They have it in powdered form as well. I prefer flakes. Flakes are better for me, I believe, for extraction purposes when you're actually brewing your tea. So I prefer the flakes. Another thing about Bladderwrack, I don't know if you guys caught in my blog post from the previous video, the smell of Bladderwrack it's a smell, and it has a distinct flavor as well. It's not, which is the good thing, is the flavor is not as strong as the smell, so you don't have to be worried about the taste more so than actually trying to get it in your mouth because of the smell. It took me a minute to get used to it, but I'll talk more about that later. So that's the Bladderwrack. The other thing that I use, which is very, very important for how I make my Bladderwrack tea, is sea moss. Now this is actually the C3 product, which is infused with the other things, but you're more than welcome to use other Conjures Crispus if you have it. So yeah, I'm gonna take a few tablespoons of this, and see, when I do my Conjures Crispus, we always tell people on the bottle to take about a tablespoon for each serving. And that's really a beginner dose. When you really start seeing the power of the C3 and the Conjures Crispus, you're going to put more. So, you know, especially if you're dealing with coughs and colds and lots of mucus, you want to load up on it. You want to load up on it. It'll only benefit. All right. So I have that in there. Just give it a little swirl. And those of you who have never made the sea moss in the gel form, you just put it in with the gel and it dissolves by itself. So it's so simple. Now, the thing with the Bladderwrack and why I always tell people to be very, very careful is because it really boosts your metabolism, so much so that you can start losing weight at a faster rate than what you're putting it on, or faster than what you should be losing it. And I actually experienced this when I first started taking it, and it actually kind of, I don't want to say scared me out of it, but it made me be more cautious in taking it in the future, because it works. It works when you're doing the right thing. This is also another herb that I always try to warn people about with overuse. If you use it too much, it is one of those herbs that will turn on you and it will not work for you. So I keep my use at a minimum. It's a patterned use, and it works for me. So I did about 2 cups of water, steam distilled water. The reason why it's steam distilled is because steam distilled is neutral, and when you're dealing with herbs, you want your water to take on the charge of what the herbs are, all right, as opposed to mineralized spring water, which is great. Drink it, you know, for your drinking water. So 2 cups of steam distilled water. I did I would say maybe 3 to 4 tablespoons of the gel, and I'm not even going to do a full tablespoon of this. Y'all see how much of this I have. I'm actually running low. But I'm probably going to do maybe a nice full tablespoon. Maybe. Okay? Just put that in there, and you'll smell it. It's going to brew itself up. So I'm going to let this go for a few minutes, stirring it occasionally. And we're going to talk more about this Bladderwrack. So Bladderwrack is a brown algae, okay? And sea vegetables are, one second. Sea vegetables are hot on the market right now, especially with the vegan craze going on. And so you got your brown algae like the Bladderwrack. Sargassum is another one. You see that on the beach a lot, especially like in Miami and in the islands and stuff like that. Other types of algae, you have red algae, which the C3 is actually a red algae, 500 million year old red algae, by the way. And then you have your green algae, which is your chlorella, things like chlorella. which chlorella is awesome. That's why I said it first, because I actually drink that every day as well, in water. So chlorella water is super dope if you guys are looking for something else to add to your Bladderwrack tea. All right. So you got the different color types of algae. We got Bladderwrack. Bladderwrack is brown algae. The super cool thing about Bladderwrack and why it works so well is because it has a high iodine content. When people hear iodine, they think of thyroid, they think of metabolism, and that's exactly what it is. The important thing to understand about the iodine and here is it's not some mineralized thing that's added to like salt. You know, we use sea salts. They always put the warning on the salt label. This is not iodized, so make sure you have a source and all of that. This is the source. This is the plant-based vegan source of iodine, and it really assimilates much better in your body than, I say, taking a vitamin or something like that. So that's really the big thing about Bladderwrack. It's the iodine, and it's also an active ingredient called fucoidan. Okay, and fucoidan is so dope because it regulates your gut flora. And I mean, a lot of people don't really study that, but it's very important when you're dealing with different stomach issues. Even if you have minor stomach issues, having a good gut flora and a balance in your tummy is going to be beneficial. So, but I do want to touch on things that can like mess with your gut flora. Fermented products. A lot of the kombuchas, and I'm saying a lot, but I really mean all kombucha, all of the apple cider vinegar. Ladies, let's stop doing that. If you really want something that's going to help you lose weight, I say replace the fermented situations with this. Because if you're going to taste something nasty, like I know apple cider vinegar is disgusting. Like nobody wants to drink that. This actually has a mild flavor, the smell. You just have to get over it. And it could do a much better job. So your gut flora, fucoidan is also good for something else. I'm not remembering right now, but I am going to do a blog post of this, and I'm going to put it in there. Alright? But we're going to keep it moving. So the iodine and fucoidan, that makes Bladderwrack so awesome. So if you have all of these things coursing through your body, it helps with your metabolism. And if your metabolism is slow, or you're like packing on a lot of weight, or you could be eating things that bloating you up and inflaming you. Matter of fact, I think that was the other thing. The fucoidan is for the inflammation. So yeah, if you're bloating, which ladies, around certain times of the month, we are more bloated than other times. And this is really where this herb comes into play in my home. That week or 2 weeks, around that time, that's when I'm really using this herb the most. That's when I'm really using it at all, for about a week and a half. Around those cycle periods, because you feel it coming on, you start getting bloated, your appetite start acting up on you, and then by the time it hits, you just like, whoa, boom. So this really helps with that, the inflammation and just other inflammation in different parts of your body. It can help, you know, boils, things like that, the different skin issues. The Bladderwrack can help with, because the inflammation properties, or anti-inflammatory anti-inflammatory processes, all right, or properties that it possesses. All right, so this looks like it's. I always let the water get a good boil, and then I drop my stuff in there. I let it start to brew, then I kind of let it kind of smoke, simmer, or steep. Mama, you're gonna turn it up just a little bit and get a little bit more out of it. So yeah, you got something that's going to help you with your metabolism. It has properties to help you fight the inflammation. If you're dealing with fibroids, this is going to be a huge herb for you. Okay? Fibroids are attacking us, and we need to attack them back. And this is the type of stuff you want to use. And matter of fact, while I'm on the subject of fibroids, if you look up a picture of Bladderwrack, they look like bladders. They look like some crazy sea creature from the depths. And it's interesting. It looks mystical. And they dry it up and they crush it, and it comes to you in the flakes. So you don't really know what it look like. But look it up. You'll like be surprised what it looks like. It looks like a sea monster. So really, the only thing you have to do to finish this tea to actually make it drinkable is strain it. I do a lot of loose teas, so I make sure I have a handy dandy cup strainer, and I just strain them on out and drink them, let them cool off. But one other cool thing I did want to mention with the Bladderwrack is it took me a minute to really appreciate this herb on the level of the flavor, honestly. And it's so deep because I'm going from, I was like meat eating, then you know you go vegetarian, pescatarian, because all of that's the same thing in the first place. So you do all of that and you be like, yeah, you know, fish is not meat, I'm eating that. And I mean, you eat fish and it's just like, you go to the fish market, it reeks. And you start brewing this up and you think it's like a fish market, but it's like this plant-based superfood that's gonna change your life. So I didn't really come into a strong appreciation. Then, you know, the cycle came around and I realized how much it took away all my PMS symptoms, my cramps and things like that. So I was like, you know, I have to figure this out. So my king kind of created this concoction for me, which get some hemp milk. And I love hemp milk, you know. Obviously, I know y'all probably heard about almond milk and how all the different things going on with it, but I stick with this. This is great. You can make your own. I encourage you to make your own. But if you're on the go, pick some of this up. Hemp milk, any kind. Some ground cinnamon, and I have some vanilla extract. Don't be messing with that imitation vanilla, and they'll catch you. They'll slip you up sometimes. Like, you see how this is in a glass bottle and stuff? You want to go for stuff like this when you start messing with the more expensive herbs and stuff. This type of stuff you want to mess with because it's good quality. You want to mess with the good quality stuff. And then I know it says clove, but I have some cardamom here as well. Now you can use a little nutmeg and all of that. You can get fancy, but I'm just keeping it basic. So I have this little concoction I like to make, and this is really good when it's cold outside. If you wake up really early to get your day started, this is something really, really good for that, because it's gonna really kickstart your day. It's gonna kick you in the ass. It's gonna give you what you need to do. You're gonna go. And you see my little cup, how small this little cup is. People get into the big coffee cups and all of that. I'm definitely gonna upgrade my cup and get a nicer size one, but this is actually really good for if it's something you really don't want to drink that bad, but you know you have to get it done. Get a nice little small thing and then be like, look, once this is gone, I'm off with my day. The race has started. Alright? So I'm actually gonna pour me a little cup right now because before I make this. Because I would like to have some by itself. I sure would. Alright, so, but if you just need a little assistance, we're going to start with the milk. Alright, and again, you're going to have to strain all of this at the end, even though I'm putting milk, and I know it seemed kind of crazy and all of that. You're still going to have to strain it. But you just pull the milk. And I really don't do measurements like that. Hate me later. I'll try to be guided in my blog post so that, you know, if you're really just getting started out and you really don't know, I can try to provide a little bit of that. But you sprinkle a little cinnamon in there, you know. And you definitely want to have this on a very, very low flame because you want to kind of cook out the herbs. The cardamom. That was like maybe 2 or 3 that went in there. That's 6. Cardamom is awesome. Oh my god, we cook with this all the time. This is awesome herb. I love this herb. And I'm going to put my vanilla extract at the end, actually. Vanilla extract with this one. So it kind of turns it into this like mocha latte type thing. You know, you're getting into making, you know, yourself signature beverages, hot beverages in the morning. You wanna get fancy. If you really want to embrace this lifestyle and love it, you know, you're going to have to, especially if you're already like, if you're anything like me, you know, I have things that I'm bougie about. You know, I'm bougie about, you know, the bottom of my bathtub. I can't just be sitting on my bathtub with just raw butt. Like, it has to be a barrier, you know. And I'm bougie about, you know, how my food tastes, and it needs to have a certain flavor, and what kind of salt you put in this, and it's just that way. So when you're doing things for yourself, you have to have that same attitude. You can't just be giving the waiter all this attitude and you ain't doing the same stuff at home. Like, you have to be on that level when you're at home as well. So make things with quality. Get real herbs. Get real milk. Plant-based milk, not no cow milk. But get real milk. Get real creative. And start buying these different herbs and trying them out and tasting them. Alright. So I'm going to just let this steep a little bit as I wrap up. But really what you want to do, you don't really need this boiling. At this point, the properties of the Bladderwrack has cooked in. Your house smells like Bladderwrack. You probably lighting your sage right now, trying to clear it out, or your Palo Santo. So it's pretty much done. What you're really doing is just kind of cooking up the herbs so you can create this aromatic with the cinnamon and the cardamom and stuff. So I'll put my vanilla extract in, and I'll just let it steep for a bit more, and you really don't need, it's extract, so it's concentrated, you know. Just be very careful, because it will get very strong very quickly. Now, the other thing that you might want to do to this, let's see, you don't have to follow me, you can just get you some grade A maple syrup. Oh, this is actually grade, formerly grade B, now it's grade A. See? This is what I really needed. Like, all of this plus nutmeg plus maple syrup, this is what I was drinking in the beginning when I was first on Bladderwrack, and it really helped me appreciate the herb. And after that, now I'm just drinking it straight like this because I have a tolerance for it. It's acquired taste, and it helps me with so many different metabolic functions. So I just came into a new light of it. But yeah, you put a little bit of this. Maple syrup is strong. Don't go too hard. For this 2 cups of water, I would say maybe a tablespoon or 2, sweeten to your taste, you know. But it really creates this really nice aromatic kind of latte cappuccino situation. It's delicious. Okay, so that's how I do my Bladderwrack. I hope that I was able to shed some light on the use of it, give you guys a little bit of information of what it does to your body. I encourage you all to go look it up yourself, get deeper into the world of the sea vegetables, because those really are a lot of the answers to a lot of our womanly problems with as far as our metabolism and hormones and things like that. So go check it out. In closing, I'm going to turn this off actually. It's blowing up, boy. And at this point, it smells delicious. At this point, it's so much more tolerable. I encourage you ladies, go make a batch of this. But yeah, in closing, where you can get Bladderwrack from, try your local herb stores. A lot of the herbs I'm going to be talking about are going to be things that you can find locally. You're just going to have to be resourceful and just start getting in touch with, I guess, local places, because a lot of local places have hidden gems and Indian and Caribbean markets. So yeah, Bladderwrack is something you should be able to find at your local herb store. One thing else I did want to mention about, everything is forgetting me right now. So I'm just going to close my Instagram, Trap with Oracle at Instagram, Trap with Oracle on Twitter, trapwithoracle.com. Anything that I may have left out on this video, I will include in the blog post. Ladies, if you try the Bladderwrack tea, especially with the hemp milk and the cardamom and everything, let me know. Show me some pictures and some videos of y'all doing it so I can see. And if you got some like de-bloating pictures, because Bladderwrack does that. Like, you'll wake up the next morning and be like, what happened? I drank the Bladderwrack. Send me those too. I'll let's see. Yeah, without further ado, peace out. I can't wait for the next video. Love y'all.